Hello again. We are seeing how our employees are there for our customers. This is the way you celebrate wins from a distance right now. Our folks are still social distancing in our stores, but still ready to serve our customers as well at this very important time, hearing lots of customer feedback, thanking us for keeping our stores open when people need to be connected. You see our teams there wiping things down. Our call centers are all shifting to work from home when they can and doing that. You see our teams connecting various different ways, keeping the smiles on their faces, so important. Ultimately, we're running to a crisis. Our response vehicles are out connecting first responders, healthcare workers around the country, around the world. We are connected. And a lot of what we'll talk about today here from the studio, as I'm joined by Tammy Irwin, is our impact in Verizon Business. Of course, we also have Hans and Christy down in the Emergency Operations Center. But a reminder for you, we'll be joining you every day at noon here. So get your questions in. You can email those to us at live@verizon.com. Certainly appreciate all the feedback you're giving us and all the questions that you have been sending this. We are answering those or getting them to the right people if we're not the folks to answer those for you. So let's start with our updates. We will go to Hans first in the Emergency Operations Center. Hans, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jeremy. Hi, all V-teamer. I hope you're doing as good as you can do in these times. First of all, I'm going to repeat every time we meet about our mission here right now. Number one, keep all of us employees healthy and safe. That's the sort of number one priority we have. Secondly is, of course, keep up the critical infrastructure and keeping our customers whole in this crisis that we're having right now in front of us. That's what we come to work or every day, or not come to the office, but come to work every day to really see that we're doing as an executive team. And I know that all of you V-teamers out there are doing exactly the same. And I'm so moved when I see these pictures that is starting this live cast today, seeing all of you working in a different way from different places. It just warms my heart to see how great we are coming together in times like this. I can just give you a short update. I just spoke to Kyle, which is running our network. We continue to do a great job with the network. We, of course, have some pockets of challenges, but in general, the networks are really going well for us. And the team out there are doing a heroic job to keep the network up and see that the capacity that is moving, that I talked about yesterday, we're able to actually have enough headroom in our network, or we're actually moving capacity in the network. So thank to all of you for doing that. Myself, the last 24 hours, I probably talked to some more than 20 CEOs of the biggest tech companies in the world, or the biggest banks in the world, or partners to us. I did that outreach to see how we're doing as a partner, but also listening to them, what they're doing. I can just conclude that we are very, very important for all of them. And they're also expressing that we are proactive and working with them. At the same time, we share ideas how we are dealing with this situation. And that's always great for me as a leader to get inputs from others and see, is there something else we should do as a team? I think that in general, we are actually operating in a very special times, and we are operating very well. I know it's challenging for many of us, but in general, we're doing well. I also think after the conversation with them that when this is over, which we don't know how long it will be, we will actually come out even stronger. I mean, the things we're doing, the technology we have is just going to increase in importance, and also how we act as a team will create that strength, and we will emerge stronger out of this. And I think that's so important to remember when we have these challenges every day and how we are working across the company, that this is also an opportunity to see how we will emerge when this is over. And as I said, my feeling and my gut is that we're really going to emerge stronger out of this. So back to you, Jeremy.
Thank you so much, Hans. And you talk about the customers. I want to show a tweet that we found here in the last 24 hours from a customer now. This is Wank 2020. Verizon, I want to give a shout out to Verizon for the excellent service they gave me today so I could reactivate my Wi-Fi at home since local businesses and the library are closed. Thank you to everyone at Verizon for helping me to stay plugged in at home during COVID-19. Another great reminder as to why we're doing this. Joining me now here in the studio, Tammy Irwin, leader of our Verizon Business Group. I know you have folks out in the field. This is what they're doing every single day, keeping folks connected. I actually want to play a bit of audio for you from one of our teammates down in Louisiana, and about how she's taking this on and how this job isn't necessarily something new for her. Let's roll that, please.
Great. obviously we deal with a lot of the public safety and the first responders. So for me, it's almost business as usual because I already know that I always have to be readily available for them, and I always have to be on top of whatever it is they need. Just because their job is so important, I need to make sure that I'm there for them at all times.
That was Capri Wesley down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Tammy, give me the update. How's your team doing around the world right now with this?
First of all, Capri, thank you. You represent the voice of Verizon Business around the world. You know, today is actually the 52nd day that we've been in a business continuity disaster recovery state within Verizon Business. Sometimes we forget we serve customers in 150 different countries. Between Kyle's team, between Guru's team, and between my team and VZB, we're actually located in 50 different countries around the world. And so we are a global business. And we've been in this crisis environment, starting with Asia Pac now for 52 days. So I just want to acknowledge and shout out to our teammates around the world because we're learning from them. But what is consistent is our commitment to how we serve customers, and I couldn't be more proud.
Yeah, that's amazing. What are you hearing from your folks out in the field as they're talking to customers?
Yeah, so a lot of things. Customers are looking to us. I think Hans said it really well. They're looking to us for core connectivity and for the products that we put on top of connectivity now more than ever. We've started, and over the last couple of weeks, have stopped selling and moved into how do we proactively outreach and service. And as Hans said so well, that's resulting in sales, whether it's jetpacks, whether it's One Talk, whether it's widening the bandwidth capacity, whether it's adding licenses and seats for capacity in call centers or for WebEx. Or whether it's security, because security is a big thing right now for customers. As they're putting more and more of their employees that work from home, they rely on our services and they rely on the capability of the security of our network. And so really, really important.
Yeah, and I know on our resource page for our employees as well, we posted some information about how our IT security will never reach out to you asking for certain things. So it's a good reminder that we're unfortunately bad actors and bad people come out at times like this, and we're keeping people protected on both sides there. So
yeah, I think an important reminder, we can protect our customers, but we need to protect ourselves as well. Something as simple as phishing. Phishing is up dramatically, so as we have people work from home and they have distractions that are not in their normal work environment, being really intentional and purposeful about how we maintain the security of the information that customers rely and trust us. Listen, the other one that is really important for us is how we're serving all of our customers, our sales and service teams that have been there for customers, whether it's something like conferencing, which we do every single day, whether it's reaching out for first responders. I had a team on the ground last night in our pro services working with all of the airports to deploy in the CDC centers, testing for people coming in. We had 18 deployments that happened last night, whether it's first responders and how we're showing up on behalf of first responders. Our Verizon response team has 60 deployments out right now serving in the community, and we've really said we can prioritize first responders, how we show up for healthcare, and then how we really help to broaden infrastructure. And that infrastructure includes all these kids that are at home, and parents are learning what heroes teachers are.
Oh, certainly, without a doubt. Tammy, thanks for those updates. Back to you in a moment with more questions that we've had that have come in. So next, want to head down to the Emergency Operations Center and get an update from our HR leader, Christy. Christy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jeremy. Thanks for the chance to give an update to all of our V-teamers around the world that are watching. You've already heard some great updates from Hans and Tammy. I'm going to keep my remarks brief for most Q&A time today. I'd just like to highlight a couple of things. We are overhauling the employee portion of the COVID-19 webpage to really now put forward all the things we've announced over the last 5 broadcasts that we've done. So you'll have an easy place to go to find out and get answers to your questions very rapidly. And we're trying to design that so you understand what's going to happen to you in terms of compensation, benefits, how to stay safe, what do we want you to do if you feel that you're not well. And then if all else fails and you can't find your answer in the hopefully new, readily formatted page, there'll be an Ask Christy, and you'll be able to ask me directly, and we're going to get those responses flipped around every 24 hours. I also want to know we put a lot of new news out yesterday. I'd just like to start with a week ago Thursday at noon, we talked for the first time about the fact that we were going to attempt to really shift to work at home. And so here we are less than 5 business days later with about 100,000 people being shifted to work at home at speed. This is a dramatic shift, and we're working as fast as we can on that. We're pulling on everybody in the company to help us. And the reason we're doing this is, just as a backdrop and a reminder, many countries around the world have declared a state of emergency, and they're calling on companies like Verizon to help them enable their ability to support their citizens in the state of emergency. At the same time, we are also trying to keep our folks safe and protected. So against that backdrop, we're making huge shifts to work at home because we can't go down. It's really important for the world that Verizon and our connectivity is still there. In that, we're relaxing many of the protocols around work at home. So you may have children in the home, you may have some elders that you're taking care of, you may have a job that isn't traditionally a job enabled for work at home. But we're going to try to find new ways of working that allow everybody to stay able to contribute, because we know our V-teamers want to be part of the support that the world is relying on us for. If all else, we have the caregiver leave that we highlighted yesterday. We have a team being spun up to support that. I did an hour call earlier today, took about 100 questions from the folks that are helping administer all of this for all of you. So just a couple of reminders. If you don't feel well, please don't come to work. We want you to stay home. We want you to take the measures to get better. We don't want to risk infecting other coworkers or the workplace. We will support you for any COVID diagnosis, any self-quarantines. Please report it to us. And you can see in almost every circumstance, we've developed a way to do pay continuity so that we could keep Verizon safe and keep you safe and healthy. And so a couple of things are changing along the way, and I'll be back during the Q&A to hit some more of those items. Thanks.
Awesome. Christy, thanks so much. So back with Tammy now, talking about continuity of pay, continuity of business. The folks who you have working on the front lines for the customers, what are they hearing, and what's your message to them to keep them connected at this time?
Yeah, so my first message is thank you, thank you, thank you for serving our customers, because nothing is more important than A, how we stay safe, so that B, we can serve our customers. So big thank you. What I'm hearing is incredible appreciation from our customers that were there, and incredible importance of what we do. When you think about our network performance, the reliability and the availability of it, our customers recognize and appreciate it, and our brand stands out as a result of it. I do want to just double down on Christy's ask. If you are sick, we've created, Christy and the team have created pay programs, caregiver programs to make sure that we all have the financial stability we need as we move through this.
To be clear, that's across the business.
It's across the business. Now you might ask, how are we setting quotas as an example? We're actually moving a lot of business right now. We've had an incredible surge for smartphones and jetpacks. And so we're going to do what's right and set quotas that are fair, but we're going to work to maintain and make sure everybody feels that financial continuity that Christy talked about. And I, for one, am incredibly proud that we work for a business that sets employee safety first and foremost, understanding and expecting that we can serve customers through that, and particularly in a work from home environment.
Good. Now I want to go back to Christy for this next question about our folks who are working out in the field techs and whatnot. How do we make sure that those folks are safe? Continue to see some questions around that, and making sure if they do have to do a critical type of repair or work for a customer, how do we ensure their safety?
That's great. We know this is top of mind for a lot of our employees. So first, I just want to highlight the leadership team has put in protocols I highlighted yesterday to do the dispatching, so that we're really focused on how do we keep businesses and homes connected. And so if there's continuity and connectivity to the house, that's our primary concern. And many service calls around connectivity to the home can be done without having to enter the premise or the business. But that's our first priority. Those are the calls we're going to really focus on, as well as things like health centers and first responder organizations that are required in a crisis. I mentioned yesterday, as we're putting this through the dispatch system, there's probably a 48-hour lag now. I said 72 to 48 hours yesterday, so taking a day off of that, we're still in the zone of trying to get that all the way through. So Kevin Service, who runs the dispatch team, has put out communication to all of you saying, if for whatever reason you have a concern about a service call, please discuss it with your supervisor and we will work with you, and we should have all the prioritizations worked out very quickly here. I think secondly, as you know, on the news, there's a lot of stories about the dramatic shortage of personal protective equipment, PPE, whether that's hand sanitizer, wipes, masks, different governments around the world are requiring different gear for people. What we know is here in the United States, where most of our field technicians are, those shortages also apply. The Center for Disease Control wants us to remind all employees that washing your hands with soap and water for the recommended period of time is an effective way to kill any bacteria or viruses. And so we're recommending for all of our technicians, all of our employees that are interacting with each other in the workplace still, that they follow those measures. And then we also have our supply chain team working aggressively on alternative cleaning agents that we can provide the technicians in their trucks and in the stores to offset the shortage of over-the-counter products, where we may have disinfectant and other solutions that we're able to use ourselves with cleaning rags and things.
Christy, quick follow-up for you there, and great reminders. When a building reopens in the Verizon footprint, if they've had a confirmed case, what's the process for that to happen so employees know?
Great. Thanks for that question. We put in an emergency text notification system a number of years ago so that in any emergency situation, which we consider this, we have a way to, via text message, contact all employees, and we can do that down to a building and a work group. And so if you were notified, you received a VENS notification that your building was being treated and not to report to work, and you would receive a similar notice when someone should report to work again. In addition, we're sending email follow-up letters, but we're really relying on that emergency notification system, which we call VENS, for a Verizon Employee Notification System, to be able to contact people. And so if you haven't received notice to return, then there's no need to come back into the building. Also, we are, through these building evacuations, we are getting people set to work at home where they can. And so oftentimes, even if the building's remediated, we're telling people to continue to work from home, so we reduce the risk of reinfection. And so the other thing I would just like to add, please, if you're not feeling well, don't come into the premises. It's a risk for you and your coworkers. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Christy. Going to go here to Tammy for a question, then Hans next. Tammy, how does the process work for you and your team? When you mentioned earlier jetpacks and smartphones and the connectivity, how does that go through and eventually get back out to the customer?
Yeah, so great question and a great opportunity to shout out to the supply chain team who's helping us to get those devices out to customers. They can either be dispatched out via supply chain, depending on where the inventory is available, or they can be dispatched out via our employees who are saying, I'll take it and I'll deliver it to a customer. We had a great example yesterday where we had a delay in the availability of inventory. One of our employees found it a couple of hours away, drove and picked it up. By the way, that employee was feeling great. They had good health, picked it up and delivered it back to a customer. So people are really going above and beyond. The thing I would tell you is we've had an incredible surge of demand for our products, most notably jetpacks. So we've gone through a process of orders less than 500, orders 500 to 10,000, and then 10,000 plus, so we can work back with OEMs. So an incredible effort on behalf of the supply chain and what they're doing to procure those, and then what they're doing to distribute them out on behalf of customers.
That's an incredible story. Thanks for sharing it, and thanks to that employee going that extra mile. And you mentioned those numbers. I think that could be staggering for some people who aren't as familiar with the Verizon Business Group. What type of businesses or organizations are we talking about that we're connecting right now?
Yeah, so a lot of public sector customers, right? When you think about education teams that are trying to get kids back up and operational, when you think about businesses like Walmart that are participating in CDC testing, when the president did his State of the Union 4 or 5 days ago and talked about everything that was happening, and he had partners with him, 6 of those business CEOs that were there are key customers of ours. So we're dispatching on the ground with them, whether it's Walmart, whether it's education, whether it's Amazon. They've just announced they're hiring 100,000 new employees. They use our core communication services. So really dispatching out where these businesses are growing and surging in the marketplace.
It's incredible to think how we're keeping all these different companies and organizations connected. Yeah. Hans, question for you, a bit of a follow-up earlier where you mentioned you're on the phone with a lot of business leaders, other CEOs around the globe. What's next in some of those conversations, and what do your days look like now as you get set? I know you had a busy day of broadcast out early this morning with Yahoo Finance and some later in the afternoon.
You try to, of course, deal both doing business as usual, but also, of course, attending this crisis management we have right now. But if you look at like a day yesterday, I mean, usually in the morning I get brief from all my colleagues, what has happened, Christy, Kyle, the business leaders, and that's, of course, a way for me to get updated on the latest. If you take the day yesterday, then I spent some 4 hours in our strategic initiative reviews, which basically is review the fiber projects, the 5G. That was an all virtual meeting, probably some 40, 50 people on the call going over everything we're doing in 5G and fiber, which is so fundamental for our company. After that, I had a virtual meeting on our board material because we have an upcoming board meeting next week, went over that. So you do that, but you work in another way. If you look today, as you mentioned, Jeremy, I started today with the same updates I always get. Then I went live on Yahoo Finance when they opened this morning to talk about what we do as a company. Then I have been on one of the foundations board I'm on to today to talk about their issues with the coronavirus. Here I'm standing every day, 12 o'clock, talking to all of you, which is extremely important. As the day continues, you heard I'm going to be on CNN today, I'm going to be on CNBC today. So you balance between continuing doing business as usual, but also attending this. And I think that's important for all of us because as we all believe, this will not go away quickly. We will work in a new normal going forward. So you need to find that balance, and wherever you are in Verizon and wherever you're working in, finding that. And that's what I'm trying to find with my colleagues and all the people I work with every day.
All right, Hans, thanks for that. We're going to switch over to Christy for a quick follow-up question. Obviously, yesterday we had Ronan out at one of our retail locations. Christy, folks want to know what's the latest on the retail front and the stores that will continue to keep open and how we're communicating to our employees who are in that line of work for us.
Thanks so much. We know there's a lot on the minds of our folks all over the company, and that's why we're trying to hear from each of the operating leaders this week. So as you heard from Ronan yesterday, the way in which he's adjusting quickly with the footprint so that we're able to keep small businesses and families and homes connected, especially as people are moving to a work at home and a school at home environment at speed. At the same time, he and his team have pivoted very quickly, and they've taken almost 850 points of distribution offline, and that includes over 500 of our owned and operated retail stores. So we are at speed moving to consolidate where we have customer access, and then when we do, we're practicing social distancing, so there'll only be one customer admitted to the store at a time per employee in the store, as well as practicing the proper distance. And we're prioritizing distribution of the solvents and things that we receive for cleaning and disinfecting to our stores and to our field technicians. And I would say continue to follow Ronan and his team, and I expect that to continue to change every day as the U.S. and other countries really begin to address and take on containment. I think we need to do our part. We see a lot of parts of the country still, listening to the call to action, but we're going to be helping lead the way for people to take the call to action.
Christy, thanks so much. Back with Tammy. We talk about continuing and taking the business forward. We talk about don't come into work if you're not feeling well. What do we need to do to continue to take it forward, and how do we keep ourselves healthy during this?
Yeah. So two things. First of all, just build on what Hans talked about maintaining and building our business. We started 2020 with a clear set of priorities. Those priorities haven't changed, and so our need to continue to deliver against those is really paramount. So while people are working at home, it is working from home, and it is allowing us to continue to move that business forward, whether it's performance agreements and gaining clarity, whether it's strategic initiatives, whether it's product development, whether it's marketing communications, whether it's selling into where you can meet the needs of customers. We can continue to, and we must continue to realize this is not going to be a short-term crisis. So leaning in and recognizing that we need to lead this business, because all the things that we said were important at the beginning of the year are now more important than ever, that we show up as a leader against those imperatives. Second thing I heard from Hans, which we continue to talk about, is the 8 leadership principles. How and where we show up as leaders is so important to make sure that we can create the environment for employee safety and for serving our customers. So practicing those 8 leadership principles. And then I'm going to go to a third category, which is self-care. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of fear in society right now about what does this mean? What does it mean for my family? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for my business? What does it mean for friends that I care about? And so I would really encourage each of us to understand, how do we deal with that anxiety? How do we face that fear head on? How do we do some practical things like get up and move? I've been working at home the last couple of days, and my husband every 15 or 20 minutes has me running stairs because I need to move. I need to be thoughtful about something as simple as breathing. The exercise of taking a deep breath and realizing that's a gift to yourself. We do it 20,000 times a day. Take a couple of deep intentional breaths and realize that's a gift to you. And then you've heard it from Christy over and over. I'm going to say it again. If you do not feel well, do not show up for work. Call somebody, email somebody, get the help you need. You prevent it from spreading to others. And then, of course, eating healthy. And then my favorite, there's a 7-minute app, which is a 7-minute workout app. I know you and I were talking about it. Download it. You'll be in the best shape of your life.
Yeah. Yesterday, some people were like, hey, you gave a shout out to your wife. Alex, I'm going to do that. I promise I will work out tonight at the recommendation of Tammy and you as well. Thank you so much. Now, any follow-ups or closing messages before we go to Hans?
Yeah, so a couple things. There are 2 lines in the credo that I love. First one is we run to a crisis, and the second one is teamwork enables us to serve customers faster and better. I want to just a huge shout out to the network team for the incredible performance they deliver. The products that we have to sell are fabulous and second to none. Secondly, to the consumer team, in your stores, you serve all of our customers. So thank you, thank you, thank you for the service you deliver. To the media team for telling the story across Yahoo Finance and others. And then for all of our staff teams who are showing up every single day, a big thank you. And my biggest thank you, of course, goes to the Verizon business team for what you're doing and how you sell and service our customers. And then I guess I would just ask, as we think about some of the closing thoughts, is it's really important that now more than ever, we have patience and we demonstrate kindness. Reach out to somebody that may be home. Take a minute to send an email. Send a handwritten note to somebody. Kindness in the world will help us show up as a better and more balanced society. And one of the things that I think has been wonderful for us as Verizon is we've said we have 4 stakeholders. We are showing up on behalf of all 4 of those stakeholders, starting with employee safety. How do we serve our customers? How do we make sure we're making the right investments from a shareholder standpoint? And then how do we show up on behalf of society? Each of us can play our part today and make sure that kindness is at the forefront of everything we do.
Good reminder there. I've got a couple of my reminders going out this afternoon. I've heard from Yoli, Michelle, Grant, you're on the list as well, so we get that out there to remind people we're here. We're thinking about you. So one quick thing before we go to Hans to close. Christy, I know you have an update as well.
Thanks so much, V-Teamers and Jeremy. Again, you'll hear from me again tomorrow. And just want to know, we're putting up an employee webpage today that's going to be a hopefully completely overhauled experience for you to find out vital information, as so many of us have now shifted to a work-at-home environment. We want you to be able to get the answers to your questions yourself. You could drop down and ask me if you still can't find the answers there, so we could approve the content. We are going to also make some additional adjustments. We're going to be releasing the vacation cap and increasing what that is and what you could carry over. That'll be on our webpage. We're going to take that from 150 to 175%. As an example, we're going to suspend your gym membership contributions because we've closed our gymnasiums for purposes of safety. And then finally, Bright Horizons. This is a daycare reimbursement service that we have. We've got them escalated to emergency level. So if you have individuals you know who can assist you with caregiver, family member, friend, other person, they will get compensated through the Bright Horizon benefit. So we'll have a lot more information on that, so that can help you find a way to balance what may be some newly rapidly shifted caregiver responsibilities, so you can stay a V-teamer and meet all of your personal requirements in life as well. So lots new, changing all the time. Remember, this is an emergency, and we're trying to do our best to support everybody in an emergency.
Thank you, Christy. And I know a lot of folks had questions about those specific things, so thanks for addressing those. Going to go to Hans for a wrap up, and then back to me here to wrap up our Up to Speed Live. Hans, closing thoughts.
Okay, V-teamers, I will be short today. I mean, I think first of all, we heard a lot of great ideas and tips from Tammy about how to deal with these different environments, sitting at home, working, etc. I love that running up the stairs. I will probably try it myself tonight. But anyhow, again, it's a new normal, and we need to treat it like that. We need to work differently. And yesterday I had a long conversation about communicating with your colleagues, friends, family in these times when you are distant from each other constantly. That's so important. The only thing I can commit to all of you, we will continue with this communication. We will continue to be transparent and take all your questions. We're going to be at 12 o'clock every day to do that. So for us, this is so super important. Having the right information, being able to ask all the questions you have is so important. We will do everything we can to answer them and see that we have good solutions to whatever problems you have. So thank you again, all V-teamers.
Thank you, Hans, for that. And a reminder of the great resource pages that we have out there to get the information, a way to contact people if you need it. And don't forget that clip we played earlier of Capri down in Louisiana. We've got a few more of those for you. We're calling them Voices from the Field. Those are available out on the web right now. We'll have Guru from Verizon Media joining us tomorrow, back at noon Eastern. Stay healthy. Remember to reach out to a friend or family member. Tell them you love them. Till next time, you're up to speed.